Welcome back to Dublin City, where we have a great guest today on the purple chairs. So let me introduce you, Bobby Healy from Manna drone delivery, which for me, it's such an exciting, it's the future, because as we think everybody's going to be using drone delivery. So really quickly, Bobby set it up from his chipper, not his chipper, went to his local chipper, saw your man sitting outside in his diesel car, does 5 deliveries a night, gets $5. Bobby goes, there has to be a better way. Thought about drones, did the kind of tech work to make it work, and then the rest is history. So Bobby, welcome.
Thanks very much for having me,
Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah,
on the purple chairs.
Yeah, I know. No fern though. I know this.
Not yet.
With green screen, we could put a fern in later.
Yeah, oh yeah, complete. Make us look good.
Yeah.
But anyway, on a simple term for our community, because the only time people will get to see you at big tech gatherings or, industry things, so our guys wouldn't necessarily see you. So explain drone delivery, simple terms.
Open your phone, order anything you want, Tesco, coffee, burger and fries, whatever it is. We ask you to drop a pin where you want it, in your back garden, your front garden, on your trampoline, whatever. And we fly straight to that pin, about 60 metres. Then we descend to about 15 metres and we winch the food or whatever it is you order down to the ground. And it's that simple. Drone delivery sounds mad and crazy and sci-fi, but it's the most normal thing ever. People in Balbriggan, there's 35,000 people in Balbriggan, 40% of them use the product on a regular basis. Wow. It just becomes normal.
Price doesn't come into it, because it's the ultimate convenience. Or it's the, so if I want to get a coffee and a croissant, which is the most popular, I have to get into my car, or put on my coat or whatever, get into my car, drive down, stop at the lights, go and get it. So it's at least half an hour out of my time. Where
it's the value of your personal time. And I won't call it laziness, but we get to say the propensity to order from us in Balbriggan is no different 200 metres away from where we are to 2 miles away. Okay. So in other words, people are just as likely to order 200 metres away from us as they are 2 miles. So it is the time, but it is kind of, why would you go out of your house and get into your car? Why? It takes 2 minutes, 40 seconds for us to deliver the product. So people get used to it quickly. Like obviously, if you've never used a product, you're going to compare it to the car or compare it to doing it, whatever. But there is no comparison. Yeah. The robots at speed by the air as the crow flies can't be matched. And
so we're talking, a 2 mile out, 2 mile back kind of thing, average?
At scale, we'll do about probably 3 miles because you want to be 3 minutes or less. Yeah. Think about a coffee or, burgers and fries or anything really. You want to be 3 minutes for the perishable stuff. And 3 miles is a long old way because it's 6 miles out and back, plus we have the flying Irish weather, which is 15 metres per second tolerance. So that's we need to be flying 45 mile an hour winds, and we fly at about 35 miles an hour. So we need to we need to fly at about nearly 80 miles an hour to beat the wind. So it's a complicated technology problem to solve with the energy to achieve that. So 3 miles is perfect, and to be honest with you, that covers pretty much all of Ireland,
And so when you go out to 3 miles, what kind of density is that? So we have Balbriggan to 30. So you started testing in Offaly, Oranmore, Barack Obama's place down in Moneygall.
Moneygall, yeah.
So 35,000. What's the biggest scale you can do? Like 35,000 Balbriggan. What is?
35,000 is small. So the way to think about it is one aircraft does between 6 and 7 deliveries per hour. Wow. An aircraft takes about the space that we're sitting in here, 2 chairs and a table. One aircraft could operate in this space. So if you think of the roof of a restaurant, like a Camille Thai, one of our partners, you'll get, say, 6, 7 deliveries per hour per drone. So at their peak, you might do 50 deliveries per hour on the weekend. So you're going to need about 7 or 8 drones to do that. That's the way to think about it. Yeah. And it's a nice unit of work. It's a nice way to think about the scaling. So a town like Balbriggan, we'll do 250 deliveries a day there. We've one big partner we're going to switch on soon. So we'll do about 300 to 400 deliveries a day. And one drone does about 60, 70 deliveries per day. So all of Balbriggan, 35,000 people, we do now at 5 drones and probably peak at 6, maybe 7 drones. So It's like if people think about, Jesus, the world is going to be full of drones. They're going to look up, there's going to be drones.
Yeah.
Not really, you know. Now it will go more frequent because coffees, you know, hot coffee, croissants. That's 30-40% of our orders. Not because that's natural state, because we don't offer enough choices to dilute that out. But you'd be looking at every household using the product at least once a week. And that means there's 10,000 households in Balbriggan, right? So 10,000 deliveries a week in a town like that is probably about right. That's 35,000 people. Pick another town, Tala, 150,000 people. You'd scale up, but the geographic area is so big that we wouldn't have one base centrally powering all of it. We would have multiple bases in strategic areas. So you're never going to look up and see too much traffic overhead.
No.
You know.
And literally, when you're looking up, it looks like the size of a seagull anyway, like a bird.
I like to call it a golden retriever with propellers. Yeah, because everyone loves a golden retriever and everyone hates seagulls. There's seagulls all over Balbriggan. Yeah.
But the seagulls will rob your chips when they get delivered.
Yeah.
But like things that people, and like when you mention it, because I've mentioned lots of people until I showed the video, the utter skeptics, right? Stuff like, how do you have enough battery? But the thing that people don't realise, your drone has to be licensed by the IAA, exactly like a 737 plane. Has to go under European legislation. And that's the thing with Ireland. They're ahead of the game though, aren't they? In terms of legislation and being on board with you and the government and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Irish Aviation Authority have been probably one of the top 2 or 3 regulators in Europe. Like most people don't realise this, but Ireland, 80-90% of transatlantic traffic flies through Irish airspace. Wow. So by nature, Ireland has a big, heavy industrial regulator, and Ireland is a business-friendly country as well. That flows through to regulation. So while we have strong regulation sometimes sounds like a bad word, right? But it quite often is. That stupid cookie pop-up is a great example. But in aviation, you need regulation because it would be illegal and dangerous to fly if you weren't regulated. So as you said, we're certified both as an airline and an aircraft manufacturer. And so there's a lot of discipline. You can't be entrepreneurial if you're building aircraft. You have to just follow the rule book.
You have to follow the rule
book.
But isn't it great to see, and I know you talk about the Irish government, a great supporter of it, to have, because the minute people think about a business like a drone, it's like, oh, let's go to American scale. Now, I mean, ultimately you have to go to American scale, I get that. But to have the government behind you, the IAA and people like that, to really make Ireland the epicentre for drone delivery.
Yeah, like we're now second in the world at drone delivery. We've overtaken Amazon. They've spent $3 billion. And it's not because we're smarter than Amazon and we don't have as much money as them. It's because we have an environment here that allows us to do trials, do tests, you know, very fast turnaround, you know, with inspections, audits like that from the regulator. So you have that fast-paced kind of almost commercial grade interaction with government and regulator that enables the business. And in the US, it's the opposite. The FAA, as great as they are and the tradition that they have for safety, they're just hugely conservative. There's 50,000 employees in the FAA.
So turning a cruise.
So the US would be our biggest ever market, but it's probably 5 years behind Europe. And what we were doing 3 years ago in Moneygall is more than Amazon have been able to achieve in the US. And that's not to denigrate Amazon, nothing to do with that. They have great aircraft, great team, great product. Just that the environment doesn't support what they want to do.
Which you have to, because like the biggest thing with this in terms of actually getting to scale is the safety aspect.
Yeah, like that's the thing. People get all excited about drones. They think about all these different use cases. That literally the only thing we're building, all this stuff you see in the newspapers or whatever,
it's fluff.
It's fluff. It's it's not marketing. It's kind of, I won't call it promotion, but it's awareness building. It's kind of, all my team, we have 120 people in the company, all they're thinking about is how can we do 1 million flights a day without a catastrophic incident? And how can we do 1 million flights a day in a low-cost manner where we don't have to overhaul the aircraft every 5 flights or inspect it every 5 flights, whatever. It has to be, the aircraft's autonomous now, right? It just flies itself. There's no input into it. But there's a lot of inspection, a lot of motor checking, prop inspection, all sorts of stuff, right? And so we're ironing all of that out. So we're removing all of the human interaction. So an aircraft can operate for a week, do 400 or 500 flights and no human ever sees it,
But
right? That's hard.
What's the ratio? Do you remember the ratio of you have to? Is it 9 to 10? What's that thing you'd say that you have to have a certain amount of flights, like 66 million flights or something before? Is that right?
The 10 to the minus.
That's it, you see.
So there's a number of, in aviation standard, it's your catastrophic incident number, right? So it's the ratio of catastrophic incidents to flight hours. So in Airbus A320 would be 10 to the minus 9, right? So one in what is that? 1 in a billion hours of flight, there's one catastrophic incident, right? Now, some people call that deaths instead of catastrophic incidents, but you know, that's kind of, so it's a big number. And drones are much safer because they're only, our drone, we don't carry people, we fly much more slowly, and we're much lighter and much smaller. So catastrophic incident with a drone isn't likely to lead to a fatality or an injury for that matter. And we have a parachute as well.
Yeah, so it's not going to bang into the...
Yeah, so like it'd be hard to find how we'd ever hurt anyone, but yet would I lose sleep doing 1 million flights a day? You're goddamn right I would. We're not safe enough to do that yet. So the target for our category is 10 to the minus 6, which is one catastrophic incident in 1 million hours, which is 6 million flights, right? But but it's still not enough, right? Because at scale we'd be doing 10 million a day.
Yeah.
Like so DoorDash, a big food delivery company in the US, do 2 billion orders a year. And I want to do 2 billion orders a year. I want to do 10 billion.
But that's on bikes
orders
and cars and all sorts of stuff, is it?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, but I mean, that comes with far more accidents than we're ever going to have with drones,
never
right?
been reported, though.
No, because it's normal, right? Someone gets injured on the road on a motorbike, it's like another. It's just in the stats, right? But one person gets hit by a drone, it's the ball game.
Yeah.
Like Uber, their autonomous driving program had an accident, unfortunate accident, killed a lady in Phoenix a few years ago. It was the end of their autonomous driving program.
Yeah.
So, and rightly so, our industry needs to be held to a much higher bar so that you can't have this crazy homesteading where everyone's racing to grab market share and safety is secondary, and you roll the dice with someone else's personal situation. So that's what's hard about this business. So we'll be spending a lot of money on R&D and development, engineering, testing before we make a penny of revenue.
Yeah.
Probably 5 or even 6 years. We're 4 years now. It's probably realistically another 2 years before we're really ramping revenue up strong. So that's 6 years of investment with 120 people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Without opening the cash register.
You're just a good sales guy.
yeah.
Give me the money. But
yeah, well, that's what VCs, that's what investment.
Isn't it though?
companies are for.
It's selling the picture. It's selling the vision.
Yeah.
But in terms of, so when you get to that, there's something satisfying about it taking so long, in the sense that I know you got your Amazons, you got your Googles, and they've thrown a load of money in whatever they're doing with it. But there's something satisfying if it takes you 5x years to get to that scalability or to make revenue, that no one's just going to, sure, we'll set up a drone delivery company. Because it's extremely, that's the good thing about it.
It takes 200 million euros to get profitable,
And
to
a
get
lot of
to a
time.
position where you could be profitable.
But that's a
because
good
it's
thing.
hardware, and hardware is a pain in the ass, and hardware that flies is even more of a pain in the ass. And hardware that flies over children and communities, that's next level
it's next
difficult.
level.
It's boring, almost how conservative you need to be, and then you have to scale up manufacturing. Like the actual R&D, the engineering, the PCBs, the computer vision, the software stack, the marketplace, all that stuff that most businesses struggle to do is the easiest part for us.
Yeah.
So like we're building about 10 different businesses at once, and it's extremely enjoyable. It's really difficult, but unusually in a business, we know what the steps are. They're sequential, some parallel, but it's very easy to identify what the steps are, the building blocks are to get to a business that can scale. Just that there's a lot of those blocks, and some of them are really difficult and expensive, but we know what they are. Whereas you build a business that's based on a strategy around thought leadership or displacement of an incumbent model of a software system, whatever it is, you're unsure what's the right next step, and you may push different doors, and you might have to retreat and waste time and stuff. This is nice because there's a predictable path, and 90% of it is in our hands. Once we have enough money, 90% of it's in our hands, and 10% is then in government and regulation and making sure that that proceeds.
It's incredible. And so in terms of bringing it back down to the drone 3 kg limit, if I want to get loads of food, I can get 3 or 4 at the same time?
Yeah, they're just flying formation.
That's,
Yeah, some people don't think about it.
That.
First question is, but how much can you fit in a drone, you know? You can fly a
3 kg
squadron of 5 drones, or
cool.
an armada of 3 drones. Like for Tesco and Balbriggan now, the current aircraft only takes 2 kilos, and so it's about the size of a shoebox, the cargo bay.
Yeah.
Now the new one is twice that, so it's a good size, but the current one is only 2 kilos. But you don't know that. If you're ordering from Tesco, we say you have 4 kilos. Yeah. And 30,000 cubic centimetres, which is a basket of stuff. Yeah. So people fill it up and they don't realise 2 drones go to do it, you know. So like the marginal cost of a drone, of a delivery, is just the depreciation on the battery and the motors, which is very low.
It's incredible. And then down to the detail with the wire that brings it down is sustainable. So that comes off. You get your box from, so you have to, sorry for skipping now, but the app will tell you, listen, your food's outside.
You get a notification when we know your takeoff time. So you get this, we'll be taking off at this time, and we know the flight time. So once it takes off, you get a notification saying we've departed, we're on the way. Yeah. And then you can track the aircraft. You see the aircraft as it's flying. And it's pretty cool, actually. I like it. It's very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
because
it's very cool. And then you're tracking it, right? Most people, for their first few orders, they're tracking it and they come out of their house and they don't know which way to look because no one knows how to read a map, you know? So you see them looking around and then, but now, like we're a year in Balbriggan now, people don't come out of their houses anymore.
Yeah, they're over.
It's not that exciting anymore.
Yeah, the first view was wow.
Oh yeah, the whole street would come out.
But the thing is like, oh, well, my neighbour robbing stuff. But the fact is, as Bobby was saying, you have to say, take my food now. So you have to press a button when it's outside, you come and take it, and then you're gone.
Hey, there's fire and forget too. Like we would do that with pints, when we did pints down in Oramore.
Guinness.
Yeah, you had to be there. Right, but if you order a coffee, you don't have to be there. We just deliver it. If you choose, we just deliver.
And the head was still on the Guinness.
Yeah, settles as it's flying. Now it's a bit grey area. The legislation, regulations, a little bit grey area around booze and delivery and stuff. So we just did that as a trial to just kind of have a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
And so like ultimately that will be an important category, but it's not one that we're like. What we want to do is, we want to transport everything, literally every single thing you could ever want in your house when you're at home in a suburb. That's what we want to bring you. So that means coffee, food, grocery, pharmacy, you name it. We want to move it. And our new system can pick up as well as drop off. So we can actually fly out to the vendor, pick up the product and then fly to the customer.
Wow, that's cool. Because the thing is though, then you have the skeptics saying, oh, you're going to take a load of jobs and all that. But people have to remember the safety, which we talked about, the IAA, the green, it's emission free because it's battery, so it's great for the environment. And then also you're taking all the delivery people off the roads, the guys that break red lights, that go on a bike, that do all mad stuff to get your food to your hot. So the safety aspect is not only the aircraft, but it's what you're doing for the community. And the other thing I want to touch on, which I love, is that I have a cake shop in a town. Now, unless I have a company van or...
You do have a cake shop, or this is a hypothetical?
Well, I have croissants.
That'd be very cool, yeah.
So, I used to have a cake shop. So, I'd have to invest a lot of money in to get the product to the other side of town.
Yeah.
To the customer.
Wouldn't work.
Where now, I have you guys, Manna come along, my fresh croissants that are just out of the oven, within less than 10 minutes overall take and put them in the basket.
My mother
is in your house.
My mother could be baking brown bread in her house and reach 30 square miles of customers in 3 minutes for free selling brown bread. And that's a business.
But this is the community aspect, the ecosystem. Suddenly, the guy that's down on the main street or the side street can now suddenly have a community and go, geez, you know, I'd be loving that for Sunday morning. A slice of that fabulous tart that... You know, and that's what I love about it. So it's a massive community effort. I presume when you go into communities like Balbriggan or Moneygall or Oramore, the embracing of the product, but just the product, but what it can do for them.
It's an NPS. Since we started, our NPS Net Promoter Score is 86, which is a better promoter score than Apple have. So people love drone delivery. But think about there's so many different cases. But like the bookshop we supported more and more, that we flew for more and more, had a better product than Amazon have. And like there's people in Dublin now.
As in time-wise?
Yeah.
Delivery
So many people now, like you might live a mile from Dundrum Town Centre where there's a Neeson's, right? But you're still going to order your book on Amazon and wait a day or 2 days, whatever,
and you think it's
for it to
amazing.
arrive from God knows where.
Yeah,
because it's one click, it's online, find it, buy it, and you wait a day, right? So that's Amazon. The big guys competing with the small guys, and the small guys don't have a chance because the small guys don't have delivery. But the bookshop we supported in Oranmore had beat Amazon because they were able to reach the whole of Oranmore, 10,000 people, in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that like we can enable the local vendor to really thrive. The butcher, the veg guy, everyone can have their own delivery. And it means that the community now have an infrastructure to do commerce and compete with the big guys. Every single small vendor can be an online vendor with delivery done by drones.
It's amazing that, and it brings the community together. People start opening business for the sake because they can now. Because it's impossible. As you said, the big boys will come in and wipe the floor. But so in terms, real quick, because we're going to wrap up soon, massive fast food industry, 350 billion plus, right?
Yeah.
And you want to take the whole thing, right? So as Manna, the commercial side of it, so you'll be delivering the stuff. Do you ultimately want to be the infrastructure for other people to hop on? It's a Manna product, but they rebrand it.
Yeah, we want to be logistics, pure logistics. So it means that, like, we did a deal with Just Eat in Galway, and we flew for Just Eat. So we don't want to. There's no one really we want to compete with. The only one that loses out through our success is the delivery driver, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Safety.
I know some delivery drivers. I have some mates that are delivery drivers, but you know, it's a terrible job.
Terrible job.
Bad for the environment. Bad for the customer. It's expensive. You know, it's silly to use a human being for that. And I learned that lesson outside Liberos when I saw the guy in the diesel car, the engine running,
Liberos.
5 orders a night. Libros, yeah, the posh version. But it's just a stupid use of a human being.
Yeah.
And we can increase commerce and consumption, by the way, because when you have drone delivery of coffee or the local restaurants, if all your local restaurants have great product, but people don't really want to go to the restaurant on a Tuesday night, right? So we can enable a really fluid and efficient transportation of that product. It's going to boost absolutely everybody.
Yeah, I love it. So in terms of 3 questions, what is the dream scale? Say you're global, what is per day delivery? What's the dream?
Well, DoorDash do 2 billion orders a year. And that's based on pretty much the United States mostly and a little bit of Europe through their Volt acquisition. That's the scale you're looking at. So, you know, we're far better than road-based delivery. Like literally, it's just far better. It's cheaper to operate. It's more scalable. Everything's about it better. So why wouldn't I want to take all 2 billion orders and then some? Because that's just for food delivery.
Yeah.
There's pharmacy, grocery, there's everything, right? And then on top of that, you take the existing food delivery industry, which is 300 billion, there'd be a lot more food delivery if you could get it in 3 minutes.
Quicker, yeah.
The reason, like, it's a heavily constrained market. The average is about once a month in Ireland for heavy users, right? But that's because no one wants to wait an hour for their burger and fries. And it may be an hour and a half or 20 minutes. You just don't know, right? But if you can get it guaranteed in 3 minutes from when it comes out of the frying pan, you're going to use it a lot more frequently.
100%.
So that 300 billion industry becomes a trillion.
Because you're thinking about, I have to make dinner, actually I can get it in 5 minutes to be on the table. It's brilliant.
In your back garden.
So, on a personal level, is there anything anyone doesn't know about you? Any fact? Go on, give us something.
Well, I'm a lot better looking in real life.
Yeah, well.
Other than that,
Yeah,
I'm a programmer. That's my thing. I write code. I still write a lot of code.
So when you're not doing all this stuff,
My weekend, I'll
what
be
do you
writing
like
code.
to-
I know exactly what I do. This weekend,
apart from writing code, do you do anything?
play chess. Huge amount of
Don't
chess.
say on your
I'm a bit of a loser, actually. I don't do much.
Ah, but just stuff.
Yeah, I swear to God. Giving up on the collecting cars and all
But
that
you
stuff.
good kicking back and having a glass?
4 kids. Oh, I don't.
Saturday
yeah.
night.
Yeah, but have a glass of wine or something, you know. I'm not boring, if
Blue
that's
nun.
what you're...
No, I'm not. I'm just wondering.
No, like I love learning. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love learning, and there's not enough time in the day or the week for me to eat books and learn technology constantly.
But it keeps you alive, though. It keeps you going.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I enjoy it. Like
Curious.
I'm looking forward. I know exactly because the family, the wife and kids are out to German class on Saturday, right? They're going into towns. That's the whole day they'll be away. I know exactly what I'm going to be building at my computer. I've been looking into it and I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed because I have a hobby that I absolutely love that is also a major tool in my toolbox for building a business.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Bobby, fair play to you. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
But, you know, the whole point of this to get Bobby in was to really explain what the drone delivery, I think it's going to be. Bobby is clear cut, as am I, that this is going to be used by every household in the world. It's going to be very exciting. I would suggest follow Bobby, look at the story, because things are happening so quickly. In 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, it's going to be a completely different business and it's going to be off the scale, literally. So until the next time, subscribe. And Bobby, thanks so much. See you later.